topic we're going to move to is Haiti, and talking about, we're just past a year now of the anniversary of the terrible earthquake that devastated the country, and talking about where we are. All the reports are in, and we're not in a great place. About $60 billion was pledged to Haiti for support and aid following the earthquake, but only 40% of that, approximately, has been used. Countries are pulling out from what they've pledged. People are still living in tents. There's 70% unemployment rate. It's dire. What went wrong in the rebuild?
Leadership allocation, probably. Corruption. You know, what do you do if you want to give money and there's no leadership that's directing you to the right place? Do you still give, or do you pull out?
And whose leadership?
Right.
I just don't understand why we're surprised. I mean, if you take this
Are we?
back, I'm certainly not. I mean, initially, of course, you have the fundraisers and the drives and the support, and very much like Katrina, or even looking at 9/11. I mean, 1 year later, things kind of stalled. People no longer have the pulling of the heartstrings, so the support is gone, and it's kind of money that's left in the air, and it's not being distributed, allocated, and you have people who are still living in FEMA trailers, still living in tents and rubble. So, I mean, it's terrible to say, but I mean, you can't be surprised that this is kind of where we are one year later.
Absolutely. They said, the Huffington Post had a quote from a program coordinator from the Red Cross talking and comparing this to the tsunami that hit, and said that a lot of countries in that catastrophe pledged money and also pulled back. So this, again, is very much history repeating itself, where there's this moment of, well, I don't want to look like I'm not giving, so I'm going to pledge, but on the back end, when the media goes away, I pull.
Well, in all fairness, and I don't know the answer to this, but I wonder if they're doing it for selfish reasons, like people are watching, let's give, no one watching, or it's they're reading all this stuff about, you know, misuse of the money and the money going to waste, and I think that it might have to do more with, you know, we're giving tons of money. It's making an impact on you know, our budget. Also, if you're not putting it to good waste, I'd rather spend it, you know, in other ways. And I can understand that, you know. I think that's valid. And I don't know why each person is sort of retracting their cash. But if it was me and I, you know, was giving $1,000 and was hearing that it's actually not touching the life of an individual, you know, at a percentage or a portion of it, that's troubling. You know, I saw something a little while ago on CNN where Anderson Cooper was going to Haiti, and he was in this huge warehouse of all this like medical equipment and supplies. Nothing had moved. Nobody has seen it. It was life-saving medicine, and none of it had been distributed. And he didn't get any answers that explained or were good enough reasons why these people were dying with this stuff there. And that is frustrating. If you don't see, you know, it evolving into something else, I don't know what I would do.
But you're initially bombarded with the pledge and the help and the media footage of the dire straits of these people, and then shortly after the initial shock of the incident, you then get the stories of corruption, and I mean, then comes the negativity of no one is distributing any of these materials, so that's what you get. So it starts off with this give, and then it's just kind of like, wait, let's think about this, because no one's doing anything, and all of these resources and funds that have been kind of allocated to help these people is now caught up in the politics of there's no leadership in Haiti or wherever the disaster is taking place. So, I mean, once again, it's like, what do you do?
And again, we have the example here at home of people that were not helped. So, you know, you can point to the Haitian government, you could point here and there, but we've seen that type of...
Point to us. It's the same thing has happened.
Also, you know, Haiti had a lot of problems before. And this has really exacerbated those issues and brought them to the forefront. And I think what we can do is basically, you know, for anyone who's in the media or who's a writer or, you know, whatever you do, is to continue to put a spotlight on Haiti. And I think you can push personally with your own religious organizations to continue to pay attention to them and continue to give them help until, you know, things are better.
So when you say give them help, are you talking about, you know, money, or what are you talking about if they're turning volunteers away and you don't feel like, you know, they're being effective with your cash? What do you do in this situation?
I think it's a matter of waiting. probably, unfortunately, of waiting it out to see when more organizations are developed, and you can get that help specifically, which is like one of the worst things that. And maybe, you know, there's got to be people in the U.S. who have contacts there who are trying to work for organizations that they could. You know,
people are going. I mean, there
are some amazing
people,
people on the ground doing great work every day.
And there are also, I mean, obviously, people are discouraged not to go because it's not safe. I mean, people were discouraged from going to New Orleans for saying that it was not safe. Of course, it's not safe. People have nothing. So,
you're fighting for your life.
Absolutely. So you're kind of acting out in a way. So I don't necessarily. I know that Haiti has never been a place that has been in the best position in any regard, financially, fiscally. Their government has always been a question. But I mean, if we just kind of turn this back on ourselves. I mean, we're the United States of America, and when this happened here, or something comparable at least, it was the same outcome. We had the same discouragement from people going in and providing any kind of aid. We had the same kind of people saying that, you know, it's dangerous, it's not something that is encouraged for people to help. Yet people did go, but I'm just saying, I don't know if people are like that.
You know, what's interesting is that you were talking about the money before, and it's not individuals pulling out their money. Ours are given. Remember that George Clooney did that Hope for Haiti, which I was glued to and sobbing all night through. They raised $66 million of individual contributions. That money's gone. My money's gone. I was on the phone texting and whatnot. That money's gone. It's the governments that are pulling out money. So now we've spent our money as individuals around the world. That money's gone, that money's out the door, yet governments are walking away, and it's our money that's frankly sitting stagnant, which is very interesting that, you know, well, here we've opened and now it's sitting, but everyone else is sort of walking away. So what happens with the money the $100 I came out of pocket with?
Yeah, and
I want that to make a difference in a life.
I think that's where people who made donations really need to be after the organizations that collected the money in the first place, to make sure that they're following through with what they said they were going to do.
Apply the pressure, basically, the individuals.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that money goes to deal with their internal issues and staff and all that, but you need that.
I don't want to see all my money just, you know, given to internal issues and staff.
Absolutely. So much overhead for some of these. You know, an organization like the American Red Cross, which is a great organization, has so much overhead that just to staff that and keep that running takes an exorbitant amount of money that is our donations that is never going to the ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's like micro grant.
Love them. Yeah.
I just found out about it, and I
did an amazing loan to a woman who's starting a
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, clothing.
It's brilliant. So I have a girlfriend who, you know, has everything. I didn't know what to get her, and she's very about sort of changing the world and making a difference. And so as a gift, I got her a gift certificate to sort of choose who she wanted to fund, and I think she chose a woman in Nicaragua who wanted to start her company. But you know, it's things like that that I think, you know, I wish there were more of that. People can sort of get organized, start applying for that kind of stuff, and that, you know, it's sort of more direct. I'm sure there's overhead and costs, but you know, on a smaller level, and I love that idea.
Several months ago, HerExchange did a lovely story on Kiva.org. I'll have a link below.
So, you know, I think things like that to make people independent, and so they're not dependent on
governments.
Giving what you want, but it's being self-sufficient over and over and over again, you know. And things like that are very much the world.
The way, you know, USAID and giving billions of dollars in aid to various countries in Africa has to sidestep governments. They have to have a way around that because the government
installed.
Their corruption.
The governments will just take the money and the supplies and run away.
I think the media, back to your point, I think the media has such a responsibility here to keep this on the forefront. When we let it go, it does fall off. Or when we show, you know, unless we stay after it, the media has the greatest power to do this. It's done in every movement we've had throughout history. The media has been in the forefront of getting that, to get us involved, to get us charged up. And when they drop it, we drop it.
Absolutely.
So there's a huge responsibility there.
Yeah, you're right. I will blog about Haiti sometime this week.
Thank you. Get people moving
Our
and get it back
span needs to get a little bit wider.
Right. We're like tragedy for a month and then we're over it. So we need to stay. We need to stay on it.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you all so much for being here today.
Thank you
so much to our very special guest. Thank you for taking, you know, you were in a hotbed. So we're so happy to have you here, and to
Thank
my
you.
fabulous ladies, I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.